List of folders in left column.
Hello, and welcome to the Basic CESS Workshop, Section 5. Overview. Section 5 uses a foundation wall project in which you will continue to practice finding items in the database and adding them to a new estimate. This time your takeoff method will be item takeoff. You will modify your spreadsheet layout in order to review crew components and then modify the labor price by selecting a different labor rate table. More spreadsheet editing follows, along with building a one-time item in order to add specific cost details to your estimate not found in the database. You'll finish the section by adding a few general condition items. It's recommended that you have completed sections 1 through 4 before attempting this section. A reminder to watch the recording for each activity all the way through before attempting the work yourself. I'll indicate when you are to stop the recording and perform the activity. Let's begin. Activity 7. We'll start by creating a new CESS estimate. You'll find your region, your park, the other folder, and by now there should be an existing CESS Workshop folder with your username listed inside it, and you'll always work in your username folder as you see it here. This will be the folder we'll use for the recording. Start with a right click, New, Timberline Estimate.
New estimate window pops up.
Remember that all yellow fields are required fields. The red asterisks listing to the tab names will lead you to the required fields. You'll need to put a value in every yellow box that you see. Our file name for this section will be Foundation Wall.
Types Foundation Wall in file name box. Clicks on main in left panel.
Just advance to the next red asterisk and continue to fill out the yellow fields.
He clicks the status drop-down box and selects working. He types 00 in the revision field. He clicks the estimator drop-down box and scrolls through a list of names, then selects the name M. Kendall. He clicks on cover page headings in the left panel and clicks to highlight the first field titled Line 1.
Your cover page heading can be Foundation Wall again.
He types in the Line 1 field, then clicks on Job Classifications in the left panel and clicks to highlight the Location Number field.
And we'll select the appropriate values for the rest of the remaining fields.
He types 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Location Number field, types AKRO in the Park Alpha Code field, selects Unknown in the Work Order Type field, then selects P15 in the Site Number field.
Verify that the Open Estimate and Timberline Estimating when done checkbox is checked, and then click Finish to open your estimate.
He clicks Finish. The document titled Foundation Wall opens. He clicks an icon on the menu bar at the top, opening the Item Takeoff window.
From here, we'll use Item Takeoff to access the database through a slightly different method than we did through Quick Takeoff or Assembly Takeoff. Item Takeoff is a 3-paned window with the upper left pane the database list that you saw in Quick Takeoff. Additionally, there'll be a variable pane on the right and a item grid at the bottom. It's best if you take a moment and adjust the pane so that it's in a viewable area that works for you. Once you've done that, hold your Shift key down and click Close.
Pane closes.
And when you reopen that pane again, it will open in that shape and position for you.
Reopens pane.
Let's review the navigation methods again that we learned in Quick Takeoff Accessing those navigation features a little bit different here in Item Takeoff. You'll notice there are no buttons: expand, collapse, search, the sort by list. It's still here, and you access those now through a context menu. Simply right-click anywhere in the upper left pane and you'll get a context menu that gives you those same features you explored in section 4.
Clicks Expand All.
You can expand.
A list of files.
Your navigation tools work the same. You can double-click or drag and drop to add an item into the item grid. You can select items with your control key if you need to skip. If you want contiguous items, you can click and hold your shift key down.
Selects block of files.
Search is a right-click again. Choose Search, and you get the same box and Go button that you did in Quick Takeoff in the previous section.
Clicks Close.
Additionally, you can change the Sort Item List By to Sort By Description or to Phase Item as you go through and select your items. If you find you have a row in your item grid that you don't want, simply move to the left to the row header. Notice the mouse arrow changes from the diagonal white to the horizontal black arrow, and then right-click, and you'll see you'll get a delete option here. Confirm the delete and the item will go away. Item Takeoff does not put your items from the item grid directly into the spreadsheet the same way Quick Takeoff does. It gives you a middle ground, if you will, where you can select items and see them here as a grouping, manipulate, edit, add WBS codes and values before you click OK and put those items into the spreadsheet. Now, during these activities, it's best if you don't click the OK button until you're ready to bring the items into your spreadsheet. So during the activities, you'll bring several items in, and when you do, notice the OK button here appears lower right. Don't click that button until you're completely finished with the activity. That'll deposit the items into your spreadsheet. So we want to avoid that until you complete the activity, get the items in here, add the quantities before you click OK. Let's start your takeoff by scrolling to phase 0311.
He scrolls through the list and double-clicks on concrete forming, then scrolls down and double-clicks on forms in place, walls.
And find phase 0311 1385. We'll be looking for item 8060. Remember that you can click once on the top item in the phase and then type 8060 to jump to the item that you're looking for. Double click, adds the item to the item grid. We'll add a quantity here of 1616. Some items in CESS contain item formulas, and when your items are added to your item grid, the variables for those formulas will appear here in the variable pane upper right. You can use the variables here to enter quantities, but for these activities we'll simply type the quantities directly into the quantity field here in the item grid. Now let's find a reinforcing item by using search. We'll right-click, choose search, and type in the search box reinforcing walls. Click the Go button.
A list of folders appears in the search box. He scrolls down and clicks to highlight a file.
We're looking for reinforcing in place A1615 grade 60. This time we'll drag and drop to add that to the grid. Our quantity will be 42.
Drags file to the item grid, types in the quantity field.
Next, we'll use the search feature to locate concrete.
Highlights and deletes reinforcing walls from search bar.
We'll type ready mix 3000. Click go.
A list of folders appears.
Notice that more than one item is returned. You can examine the item before you take it off with a right click. Initially you'll right click and close the search, and then you right click again and edit item. Here you can examine the takeoff unit, the price, the pricing date.
Editing box pops up.
You can close it, right click on the next one. Notice here this item's in cubic feet, and we're looking for concrete in cubic yard.
Clicks close on editing box.
So we'll take our top item and again drag and drop. Quantity here will be 31 cubic yards. We'll locate items now by division. We'll right click and collapse the list, and then scroll to 0331.
He double clicks on structural concrete
and find 0331 1370.
He double clicks on placing concrete.
We're looking for item 5050.
He double clicks to add item 5050 to the item grid, then types into the quantity field.
Double click and 31 again for the quantity. We'll find concrete finishing. With a right click, we'll sort item list by description. And now we'll type, remembering that this is case sensitive, the text concrete finishing with a capital C.
He scrolls up and down through a list of hundreds of files and clicks on one to highlight it.
We're looking for concrete walls, bush hammer, green concrete. Double click.
Adds item to the item grid.
And our quantity is 1616. We've completed the concrete portion of our estimate. It's time to click OK and add the items to our spreadsheet.
He clicks OK on the item grid. The items disappear from the grid. He clicks close on the grid.
Note that the items now are here in your spreadsheet. Pause the recording and complete Activity 7.
The spreadsheet appears with concrete items added to it.
Activity 8. Reviewing crews, productivities, and labor pricing. In this activity, you'll review the spreadsheet to confirm that the crews and productivities are in line with expectations. Changing the rate table for an item could indicate work done by a sub or an installing contractor, or the work could be done by a general, sometimes referred to as a prime contractor. So to start, let's expose the columns that we need to see the fields that we're interested in regarding labor. Your spreadsheet layout can be controlled in a couple of ways. Columns can be controlled at the column header level. A right click, you can hide columns. If you paint across couple of columns, you can right-click and show the columns that lie between the columns.
Highlights columns.
Another management tool is known as Spreadsheet Layout, and that's the icon here, basically in the middle of the toolbar, right next to the binoculars. It's a symbol as a little spreadsheet, and clicking that allows you to see the current layout. And if you'll click the Edit button, it gives you your columns, listing them top down, the way you read them left to right. A check in the visible column indicates a column that's visible. An unchecked column is a hidden column. We'll want to find the labor columns that we're interested in. We'll start with labor productivities and the unit, the cost per unit, the quantity. We don't need price factor. We don't need waste. We don't need tax.
Clicks to check and uncheck columns.
We're looking for the crew, the labor productivity in unit, the unit cost and cost unit, the quantity unit, and the labor rate table itself, along with the price and of course the category amount here referred to labor amount. In this activity we won't name these choices. We'll just click OK once we have the appropriate boxes checked. And when you come back, you'll still be on current layout. You'll click OK again, and notice that the columns then are changed to your viewing selection here. We'll start by examining the crew itself. And we know from this crew that there's 4 rod men in this crew. Our job is small, and we think we can get by with a smaller crew. So a right click will allow us to substitute the crew.
Click Substitute Crew. Database Crew list box pops up.
We'll open up Crafts, and we'll look for 00-Rodman, and we're after the Rodman 2. Select that and click OK.
Crew list closes.
And the crew is substituted, and that causes the labor price to change as well, going from 4 workers to 2 workers. Substituting a crew changes the price, but it does not change the productivity automatically. You can adjust that if you want to, not part of the activity in this case, but those fields can be adjusted as well. We'll now work to pick a different rate table for our estimate. A right click on labor rate table will allow you to list the rate tables, and we'll pick the labor rate table that includes overhead and profit, indicating that an installing contractor might be doing the work here. And we'll click OK. That drops that newly selected rate table in as the upper column, and then to populate the rest of the rows, you can simply left click and drag down. To paint those rows, right click and do a fill down. And you'll notice when we do that the labor pricing will change as we change that rate table.
Clicks fill down.
Pause the recording and complete Activity 8. Activity 9, Coping Repair. In this activity, you will continue to build up the foundation wall estimate and take off items for a coping repair, and then make an adjustment to one of those items. We'll return to Item Takeoff.
Item Takeoff window appears with a list of folders.
We'll sequence now with a right click, sort item list by. Let's sequence by phase item. And with search, we've got 2 ways to do that. Directly with a right click and search, or we can also sort item list by description, and the jump feature will search the list for us as well. Let's start with basic search.
He right clicks and selects search. The search bar appears.
We're looking for minor site demolition masonry walls. So one good technique is to type in parts of a description you're looking for and then add to it as you get some returns. So we'll start small here.
Types minor site demo.
And as we add more values, we can limit the number of items that are returned to us.
Types brick hall.
And we're looking for walls, brick, solid, exclude hauling. And a double click will add that to your grid. Let's do another one by search. This time we're looking for a dumpster. So we'll start with demo and rubbish.
He types demo rubbish and clicks go. A large list appears.
And again, to limit the number of items we have, we can add a bit more. We can say dump for dumpster. And we know we're looking for a 20 cubic yard dumpster.
He types dump 20 and clicks go. One file appears.
And there we go, the 5 ton. This time we'll double click. Let's do the next one, close the search, and we'll do the next one with a sort by description. Now remember, we're going to be searching on the leading characters in the description. So Masonry Demolition. And from here, we'll scroll down till we can get to copings. We're looking for precast masonry, 12 inches wide, hard mortar.
He double clicks to add item to item grid.
We'll add quantities. We can do 120 for the minor site demolition, 2 weeks for the dumpster, and 90 feet for the coping. Let's return to comprehensive search, right click, search, and let's go for brick, wall, and this is the 6.75 brick per square foot.
He types brick wall 6.75 and clicks go. A list of files appears.
We want the alternate common brick.
He double clicks to add the file to the item grid. He types in the quantity field.
90 square feet. Let's put back the coping now. 12-inch wide marble.
He types coping marble 12 and clicks go. One file appears. He double clicks to add it to the item grid.
And finally, some copper flashing. .16 ounce.
He types flash copper 16 in the search bar and clicks go.
We'll take the over 4,000 pounds here.
Double clicks to add to item grid.
And it'll be 350 square feet for the flashing and 90 lineal for the coping. So once you have all 6 items in, click OK. Those items are added to your spreadsheet, and then click Close.
Clicks OK, clicks Close and returns to sheet.
We'll review our items by a particular sequence we call Takeoff Order.
Clicks tab at bottom of sheet.
It's a very handy sequence. As you do your takeoff, every item row that's added to your spreadsheet is given a unique sequence number. So it's easy to find the things you did last by going to the bottom of your spreadsheet.
Clicks magnifying glass.
If we turn on our detail window, you'll note that every item is also date and time stamped, as well as being assigned that unique sequence number. We're going to make an adjustment, and we've decided to have a contractor do this job without the granular labor material breakdown. So we'll start by zeroing out the labor price and the material price, and we'll just add $10 a square foot in the subcontractor cost category, and that will extend out to $3,500. We'll click OK to save that. Close your detail window. Now pause the recording and complete Activity 9. Activity 10, adjusting the masonry work. In this activity, you will add adjustments to the items that you've already taken off for your masonry work. We're going to need some cutting and patching to match some existing construction. We also need something for special handling and storage limitations. And we also want to put costs in for protection of the existing work. So we'll return to Item Takeoff.
He clicks the icon to open Item Takeoff window.
Let's change our sort to Phase Item. Right-click, Sort Item List By. Let's choose Phase Item. Let's right-click again and use Search. And we'll type in Patching.
He clicks Go. A list of files and folders appears.
We'll scroll down to Masonry 0401. A good technique when you get a lot of returns is to right-click and collapse your returns. That'll allow you to get to a long scroll like that much quicker. Notice we have a phase dedicated to patching, and we're looking for the ½ deep.
He double-clicks to add the file to the item grid.
Now we won't add a quantity at this time. We'll click OK and add the item to our spreadsheet. We'll get a warning that we can manually enter the quantities here, or we can generate without quantities. And at this time we'd like to generate without quantities, so we'll click Yes. We'll close Item Takeoff, return to the spreadsheet, and for our quantity we're going to type a 1, and now we're going to change the unit to LS for lump sum. We'll use a different way to get to the detail window. We'll use Control D.
The detail window pops up. He clicks the drop-down box next to the order quantity column and selects LS.
We'll change the order quantity for labor to lump sum. And we're just going to put in $1,000.
He types 1,000 in the unit price field for labor.
The material price, we're going to enter $250.
$250 in unit price field.
So what we've done is taken existing RS means item and used it, modified it, so that we can change the pricing to lump sum amounts. We'll click OK, and we'll close our detail window.
Click Exit upper right-hand corner of window.
Next, we're going to build a one-time item, which allows us to add a row to our spreadsheet without using an item from the database itself.
He clicks on the description heading and drags it to the right, expanding the column.
We're required, when we build a one-time item, to select a phase. And an easier way to do that is selecting an item in your spreadsheet that already has the correct phase number. So when you come up and click the blue 1 icon on the toolbar, the dialog will inherit that number, and that will save you from hitting the list button and scrolling for an appropriate phase. And if you don't have an appropriate phase in your spreadsheet, then when the dialog opens, you can access the phases here with this list button in the same way you would with quick takeoff. The only values you'll get returned here though are phases. You're not picking items, you're just picking a particular phase to house the one-time item that you're going to build.
Clicks Cancel on Phase List.
And this is where we'll add material handling and storage limitation.
He types in the description field of the one-time item window.
And we're going to add a maximum.
Types add comma maximum in description field.
Next we'll do a quantity of 1.
Types 1 in quantity field.
We'll use again lump sum LS for the unit.
Types LS in takeoff unit field.
And then click lower left the Go to Detail button.
Detail window pops up.
And here we'll enter a direct $500 for labor and click OK.
He clicks the blue 1 icon in the toolbar.
Let's click one-time item again.
One-time item window opens.
And this time we'll build an item for the protection of existing work. This is an add, and we'll have a maximum quantity will be 1 again, lump sum, go to detail.
One-time item window closes.
And we'll use $250 for labor and $300 for material. Click OK. Close the detail window.
Clicks X in upper right hand corner.
Pause the recording and complete activity 10. Activity 11. Take off general condition items for coping repair. In this activity, we'll use item takeoff and we'll add general condition items for coping repair to the estimate. Scaffolding, planks, some labor, some temporary fencing. Click the item takeoff icon. Right-click and search, and let's look for scaffolding.
He types scaffolding labor 5 stories in the search bar, and clicks Go. A list of files appears. He clicks to highlight the first file in the list.
We'll choose the scaffolding, 1 to 5 stories, excluding the planks.
He double-clicks the file to add it to the item grid.
We'll look now for the rental.
He types scaffolding rent complete in the search bar. He clicks to highlight the first file that appears, then double-clicks to add it to the item grid.
We'll choose the face of walls and notice that it excludes the planks.
He types scaffolding plank in the search bar.
Here are the 2 by 10 by 16 foot labor.
He double-clicks to add the file to the item grid.
and we'll find the 2x1016 rental of the planks as well.
He double-clicks the second file to add it to the item grid.
Let's add some quantities. 15, this is per 100 square feet, so 1,500 square feet of scaffolding. 20 planks.
He clicks in the quantity fields for the 4 files in the item grid, and adds the quantities.
Let's look for our temporary fence made of plywood.
He types temp fence ply in the search bar, and clicks go. 2 files appear. He double-clicks the second file.
We'll select the 4x4 frames, 100 feet. And finally, a laborer.
He types laborer in the search bar. He double-clicks field personnel, general purpose laborer, average, to add it to the item grid. He enters .750 in the quantity field.
And we'll put in 0.75 or 3/4 of a week. If you have 6 items, click OK. Add those items to your spreadsheet.
He clicks OK. The items disappear from the item grid. He clicks close to return to the spreadsheet.
That's the end of Activity 11, Section 5. You can stop the recording or continue on to Section 6.